One generation got everything: free land, lifetime pensions, zero taxes, all funded by conquest. Then the conquests stopped, but the benefits couldn't. So they tried every way possible to make their grandchildren pay for it. Raised taxes, destroyed the currency, locked them into hereditary poverty. That was Rome in 30 BC. Right now, we're doing it again. And just like Rome, the generation promised lifetime benefits won't accept anything less, even if it means burying their grandchildren with the bill. 30 BC, Rome just conquered Egypt, the wealthiest kingdom on earth. Octavian has a problem. Half a million soldiers expect to be paid, so Rome paid up. Lump sum payments worth 10 years' salary, free land, lifetime tax breaks, all funded by Egyptian plunder. Romans who survived the conquests won the lottery. They showed up during the Golden Age when the empire was rich enough to make everyone wealthy. There was only one problem: Golden Ages don't last. Eventually, you run out of neighbors to rob. So when the expansion stopped, Rome had two choices: cancel the benefits or bleed the next generation dry. Guess which option kept politicians alive? Roman Emperor Pertinax tried cutting benefits in 193. The Praetorian Guard murdered him in 86 days. Message received: tax the provinces, debase the currency, bleed future generations. Just don't touch the benefits. And that's exactly what every emperor did. American boomers hit the same lottery. They showed up during America's golden age of affordable houses, wage growth, and pensions that actually paid out. And just like Rome's veterans, they locked in every benefit while the empire was expanding. The expansion's over now, but the bills still do. So here's what happened when Rome ran out of money but couldn't cancel benefits. First, they tried to make the next generation pay for it. Rome's expansion stopped in 117 AD, but the benefits didn't. They still had to pay land grants, pensions, and tax exemptions to an entire generation. So where did the money come from? The provinces. Egypt, Gaul, Spain, the same places Romans got free land, had to fund these benefits forever. Picture this: a wheat farmer in Egypt, third generation under Roman rule, never saw a conquest, never got a pension. Then one day, his taxes double. The reason? To fund pensions of the empire who conquered his grandfather. Right now, you're paying 12.4% of every paycheck into Social Security. The average boomer will take out more than $500,000 more than they ever paid in. Medicare, Medicaid, defense spending, we're staring down $73 trillion in unfunded obligations. Who covered the gap? Not the generation collecting it. The pattern is identical. Tax the young to fund the old system. The difference? Rome at least pretended the system would continue. We don't even get to enjoy that lie. 71% don't believe Social Security will exist for them, yet we're still forced to pay. But taxing the young only works until the young run out of money. So Rome moved to phase 2 and did what every broke government does. Counterfeited their own money. Same stamp, same 1 denarius marking, half the silver content. Rome hoped no one would notice the missing silver, but they did. And so the value of each coin became worth less and less. Romans who'd been promised pensions that could feed them for a year, now it bought 6 months of food, then 3 months. Veterans who'd fought for Rome were starving on their full pensions. They'd been promised a lifetime of security and respect. Instead, they were struggling to buy bread. So what did they do? Accept reality? Agree to cuts? No, they rioted, demanding Rome honor its promises. We bled for this empire. We were promised. It didn't matter that the empire was broke. Didn't matter that young Romans were drowning in taxes to pay for it. The generation that got promises refused to let them go. Today, nothing's changed. Boomers are the largest voting bloc in America, 76 million strong, and they vote together for one thing: their benefits. Every politician knows the math doesn't work, but boomers show up to vote. Young people don't. So our politicians do what Roman emperors did. They cave. Don't worry, your benefits are safe. We'll find the money somewhere. Social Security is fine. How will they find the money? They'll figure it out later. Print more, tax the young more, gut everything else. Just don't touch boomer benefits. But here's the problem every empire must eventually face. You can only kick the can for so long. In the end, the bill comes due. And when it does, empires make their final, most desperate moves. Emperor Diocletian is watching the empire collapse around. Taxes maxed out, currency debased, people are fleeing to barbarian territories rather than being a tax slave under Roman rule. Diocletian is out of options, so he tries something so insane it shows just how desperate Rome had become. He makes jobs hereditary by law. If your father was a baker, you're a baker. Your son will be a baker. Your grandson will be a baker forever. Why? Because if you leave the bakery, the tax revenue disappears, and Rome needs every coin to pay benefits. But even this didn't work. People kept escaping. They abandoned their trades, fled their cities, dissolved their businesses. They'd rather risk barbarian territory. When your most productive citizens would rather live under barbarians than stay in your empire is already dead. You just haven't admitted it yet. We're watching the same desperation play out right. Social Security goes insolvent in 9 years. So what are politicians proposing to save it? First idea, take your Social Security money and dump it into the stock market for better returns. Yes, this is really being pitched. Second idea, raise the retirement age to 70 for millennials to 75 for Gen Z. If you die early, oh well. Third idea, tax your 401k. You already pay income tax when it's time to withdraw it. Now they want to tax it on the way into your retirement account. These aren't solutions. This is the biting and thrashing of a system that knows it's dying. And Americans are responding in the same way Romans did. They're fleeing. California lost 500,000 residents in 2 years. High taxes, unaffordable housing, cost of living through the roof. They're fleeing to Texas, Florida, Tennessee, anywhere the tax burden is lighter. Nearly 5,000 Americans renounced their citizenship in 2024, one of the highest on records. These aren't conspiracy theorists. These are entrepreneurs, business owners, wealth creators, people who built something and decided the American system wasn't worth it anymore. Better to be free somewhere else than a tax slave here. But here's what should make you angrier than anything else. Everyone's getting screwed. Boomers paid in for 40 years, were promised security. Now they need those benefits to survive. So yeah, they'll fight like hell to keep them. What choice do they have? You're paying into a system that goes insolvent in 9 years. Can't opt out. So who's the villain? Boomers demanding what they were promised? Or you for being born too late? Neither. The villain is the system that makes promises it can't keep. It's the politicians promising everyone gets paid, knowing it's mathematically impossible. Rome did the same thing. When plunder stopped, they blamed the provinces, the young, anyone except the emperors who made the promises. They're doing it right now. Boomers versus millennials, arguing over a bankrupt system. Meanwhile, politicians count on you staying distracted while they rob you both. So here's what I want to know. What desperate measure do you think comes next? Digital dollar so they can tax every transaction, wealth taxes on your 401k, mandatory investments in government bonds? Drop your prediction in the comments. I'll pin the most realistic answer. Because here's what history teaches. Rome's boomers got everything and left the bill. Ours will too. Not because they're evil, because the system was designed to fail from the start. Want to see more patterns? The gig economy already destroyed 3 empires. We're number 4. Link in the description. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And remember, history is watching. The only question is whether you'll see it coming or keep trusting the empire until the end.